Friends, welcome you to your study channel 9 Minute Study. Today our topic is first person in India. So let's start the video. Our first question is, who was the first Chief Election Commissioner of India? And the answer is Sukumar Sen. Who was the first President of India? And the answer is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Who was the first British Governor General of India? And the answer is Lord William Bentinck. Who was the first Indian to win the Nobel Prize? And the answer is Rabindranath Tagore. Who was the first Prime Minister of India? And the answer is Jawaharlal Nehru. Who was the first Governor General of independent India? And the answer is Lord Mountbatten. Who was the first Field Marshal of India? And the answer is Field Marshal Shyam Manekshaw. Who was the first Indian Chief of the Air Staff of India? And the answer is Air Marshal Subrata Mukherjee. Who was the first Chief Justice of India? And the answer is Sir Harilal Jekisundas Kania. Who was the first woman lawyer of India? And the answer is Cornelia Sorabji. Who was the first and last Indian Governor General of independent India? And the answer is Chakrabarti Rajagopalachari. Who was the first Chief of the Naval Staff of India? And the answer is Admiral Ramdas Katari. Who was the first female I.P.S. officer of India? And the answer is Kiran Bedi. Who was the first Indian to join the Indian Civil Service? And the answer is Satyendranath Tagore. Who was the first Indian Commander-in-Chief of India? And the answer is Field Marshal K.M. Cariappa. Who was the first female Prime Minister of India? And the answer is Indira Gandhi. Who was the first female Chief Minister of India? And the answer is Sucheta Kripalani. Who was the first Indian to reach Mount Everest without oxygen? And the answer is Phu Dorji. Who was the first woman minister in Government of India? And the answer is Rajkumari Amrit Kaur. Who were the first women graduates of India? And the answers are Kadambini Ganguly and Chandramukhi Basu. Who was the first woman airline pilot of India? And the answer is Durba Banerjee. Who was the first woman Lieutenant General of India? And the answer is Vice Admiral Punita Arora. Who was the first recipient of the Aadhar Card? And the answer is Ranjana Sonawane. Who was the first Home Minister and also the first Deputy Prime Minister of India? And the answer is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Who was the first Vice President of India? And the answer is Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. Who was the first British Viceroy of India? And the answer is Lord Canning. Who was the first Indian to cross English Channel? And the answer is Mihir Sen. Who was the first Speaker of the LokSabha of India? And the answer is Ganesh Vasudev Mavlankar. Who was the first woman Chief Justice of High Court of India? And the answer is Justice Leela Seth. Who was the first female I.A.S. officer of India? And the answer is Anna Rajam Malhotra. Who was the first Chief of Army Staff of India? And the answer is General Maharaj Rajendra Singh Ji Jadeja. Who is the first citizen of India? And the answer is President of India. Who was the first Law and Justice Minister of India? And the answer is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Who was the first Indian to win MagSaySay award? And the answer is Acharya Vinoba Bhave. Who was the first female governor of a state in independent India? And the answer is Sarojini Naidu. Who was the first Indian female medal winner in Olympic Games? And the answer is Karna Malleswari. Who was the first Indian female gold medal winner in Asian Games? And the answer is Kamaljit Sandhu. Who was the first Indian female to reach South Pole? And the answer is Reena Kaushal Dharmasaktu. Who was the first Indian to win Nobel Prize in Economics? And the answer is Amartya Sen. Who was the first female Speaker of a State Assembly of India? And the answer is Shanno Devi. Who was the first Indian to reach Antarctica? And the answer is Lieutenant Ram Charan. Who was awarded the first Param Chakra of India? And the answer is Major Somnath Sharma. Who was the first Miss Universe from India? And the answer is Shushmita Sen. Who was the first Miss World from India? And the answer is Rita Faria. Who was the first female president of United Nations General Assembly? And the answer is Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit. Who was the first Indian judge of International Court of Justice? And the answer is Dr. Nagendra Singh. Who was the first Indian pilot? And the answer is J.R.D. Tata. Who was the first Indian to win Nobel Prize in Physics? And the answer is C.V. Raman. Who was the first female ambassador of India? And the answer is Kaunira Beliappa Mothamma. Who was the first female Director General of Police in India? And the answer is Kanchan Chaudhary Bhattacharya. Friends, thanks for watching. Please like, share and comment to this video. And subscribe to 9 Minute Study and press the bell icon for latest video notifications. Thank you.